Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Movies I Love. I've done one of these, and to be honest with you, I completely forgot the movie it was The Untouchables. And it was going to be a series that I was going to continue to do, and I just never got around to doing another episode. And figured, what the heck, might as well go ahead and start. As you can tell, Halloween is the topic of today's episode. And if you guys don't know, I'm not just doing a regular review of these. This is actually kind of like my backstory into being introduced to the film and the influence that the film or whatever film I'm talking about at the time influenced my, life or cinema adventures or blah blah blah. And so I figured, you know what, with the new release of the 35th anniversary edition of Halloween on Blu-ray, and the fact that it's October and that's when everybody usually watches horror films. Me, I watch horror films all year long, but in heavy doses during October. And so I figured I'd go ahead and start with Halloween. Halloween is John Carpenter's 1978 masterpiece, and it is basically the simple story about good and evil, and when a boogeyman comes to town, you better not be babysitting or having sex or blah blah blah, or else you might die. And so that's basically the plot. Heavily exaggerated, but basically, if you don't know, Halloween is the story of a escaped mental patient who it's his story after he kills his sister when he's young. He gets sent to an insane asylum basically, and instead of jail because he's insane. Well, years later he escapes and he heads back to his town where he killed his sister before and where he grew up. And he gets this obsession over the lead character played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Her name is Laurie Strode, and her group of friends who are doing their share of babysitting or going on a date, their usual thing, whatever they're doing on that night. And so that's basically the premise of the film. And I could have said a lot of other stuff, but the thing is that I like to think of this film as its individual film. I try to keep it away from the sequels. Some of the twists that you learn in Halloween 2 and stuff, I don't even like thinking about that in this film because this film is so brilliant. I think some of the choices they made down the road in the series kind of were not great choices, and I just think John Carpenter's first film is just amazing all around. Now I do like the sequels, especially number 2, but Halloween 1 I think is just a complete and utter masterpiece and very influential. So my Halloween story is when I was third grade. I had a friend who was a year older than me. He was really into horror movies, and I will be bringing up this friend a lot because he introduced me to a lot of horror movies. And so we were over at his house one night back in third grade, and he was like, "Hey, you want to watch this?" And it was the Blockbuster um, exclusive edition of Halloween. And I was like, "Oh, sure, yes, that Michael Myers guy. I've never seen any of those movies." And so he was like, "All right, well, let's watch it." Oh my gosh, it was like the one time in my life where I had nightmares about a movie. I mean, it was so gripping. The experience from when I was in third grade just like intoxicated me. I could not stop thinking about the film. My parents wouldn't let me watch, rated R movies or horror movies in general. Plus, I was in third grade, so not all third graders need to be watching, horror movies. And so the only way I could actually watch this film as much as I wanted to was by borrowing it from them. And so I would borrow this VHS tape, and I still have the image in my head. It was a VHS tape with Laurie Strode on the front, Michael Myers in the back, and it had the red Blockbuster exclusive, tagline on the side of the box. And I just was obsessed with the movie, and this lasted until I was in fifth grade. And I don't know how I got my hands on it. I think I bought it at some garage sale or something, but I bought a VHS tape of Halloween. And it's funny because I bought it and I watched it and I was like, man, there's some stuff missing in this film. Well, it turns out that the Blockbuster edition that I originally watched was this extended edition where they took all the television footage that they added later, for a TV edition to cut down on some of the other intense scenes and to fill the time slot. And that was the edition that I watched for the first time. And so I was like, man, there's something missing. But it was like I didn't care. I was like, it actually feels like a tighter film. Like it's really put together tightly. And so, yeah, I just continued to watch that, and I never watched the other version again up until a couple of years ago when I bought this extended edition DVD because I actually now really like those extra scenes. I think they're pretty cool. But nothing beats the theatrical release. And so, still in fifth grade, obsessed with this movie, and I actually started a Halloween club when I was in fifth grade. Basically, every time we went out to recess, instead of playing tag, we played Halloween, and I was in charge of it. I made it up, and whoever got tagged, you were the one who turned into Michael Myers. And we would spend recess just chasing each other, playing tag. You're it, but in reality, we're playing. I'm Michael Myers. I just tagged you. You're dead, and then you became Michael Myers. And so, like, it was just like I was always obsessed with movies at an early age, and so the movie was always very like influential to me because around that time is when I really thought about, that's when I was really loving movies and really getting into movies even more, getting into horror movies in general. I was introduced to Day of the Dead, George Romero's Day of the Dead by the same friend. That's going to be talked about in another video that I'm going to do this month, and I will share that story. But I've basically owned, I would say I've owned Halloween 5 times. The VHS, that VHS broke, so I got a new VHS, so that's 2. Then I got the DVD. Then I got the special edition DVD, which was like the anniversary edition. And then I got this one, and then I got that one. So I guess that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever. I lost count because I always. This is one of those movies I've owned so many times I forget how many times I've actually owned it, and so I just continue to love it to this day. I got this the other day, and man, the new transfer is so amazing, and special features are pretty cool because other than the fact that I didn't bring over one of the other special features from the other release, which was a documentary, like a making of documentary, this one actually has a documentary called the night or the day she came home, and it was Jamie Lee Curtis at a convention, and there's some YouTubers in it. You could actually see some fellow YouTubers in it, and it's pretty cool. Another cool thing about this edition is it has a new commentary by John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis, and I actually watched the film on the Blu-ray 3 days ago. Then last night I watched the film again with the commentary, and it was so insightful. You get to know it. It was really cool. Jamie Lee Curtis was really fun to talk to. Her relationship with John Carpenter is really cool to listen to. Because basically he like started her out, her acting career out, and it was a really cool interaction. I know some people are mixed about the commentary. They think Jamie Lee Curtis maybe talks too much. I loved every single second of the commentary. It was really awesome. They were both like pointing out little mistakes that they could see to this day and stuff like that. So it was really cool. But yeah, so that's my Halloween story and movies that I love. So if you have not seen Halloween, please do it. I didn't really give away any spoilers in this video, so you could go see it and not feel like you just heard all of it. So stay tuned for another edition of movies I love coming in the next few weeks. Yeah, I've said a lot in this video just because I'm doing it spur of the moment, and on the seat of my pants right now. So I guess that's it. Once again, pick up this Blu-ray, and I also recommend you pick up this edition too, the extended edition, if you love this movie, because it's just really cool seeing some other extra scenes put in there. So pick that up. I know it's out of print, but I think you could get it pretty cheap on Amazon. I think when I got it, it was like $20 on Amazon used because it was already out of print. But as a lover of the film, spending 20 to 30 bucks on an out of print copy of an extended edition is worth it. So, anyways, guys, I will talk to you in the next video and see you later.